Hey, how you doing? It's Tom Breeze here from tombreeze.com, and in this training video we're going to talk about my story, how I've come from a very anxious place to a very confident speaker, and how you can take that same journey as well. You see, throughout the whole of my past, I've been lucky enough to be thrown into public speaking situations. Throughout school and college, I was part of a debating society, and as a result we were always presenting to quite large groups. And then I went through university and my master's studying psychology, and as a result we'd be conducting many experiments, finding our results and presenting it to our year group on a regular basis. Maybe once every 2 weeks we were presenting to 50 people. So I had a lot of practice, but I was practicing in my way. I'd never had any formal training as such. But all of this confidence was completely shattered on the very last day of my master's. You see, I had to present my thesis to not only the rest of my year group and all the other undergraduates, but I also had to present to the rest of the scientific community. And that meant there was about 250 people there on the day that I had to present. Now, due to the nature of the presentation itself, of course, I felt a little bit anxious. There were 250 people there after all. But at the end, we had about 20 minutes for questions and answers. And there was a particular professor sitting in the audience, and he raised his hand immediately as I had finished my presentation. It was at that moment that I wanted the ground to swallow me up whole. I just didn't want to be there. I even remember looking over to the door and thinking, I should just run right now. But I stayed where I was, and this professor started grilling me on every different aspect of my study. And the more he grilled me, the more I ran out of answers. And I felt so embarrassed in front of all those people. I remember leaving that presentation and going to the mirror, looking at myself and thinking, is this really for me? Is public speaking something that I can do? At that point, the negative thinking started kicking in. Immediately, whenever anybody used to say the word presentation, I used to feel the anxiety. Just the thought of any people in front of me, the eyes are on me, I felt that anxiety straight away. I'd think negatively, I'd feel horrendous. And as a result, I'd never perform in the way that I used to be able to, because I'd be racked with all this fear and anxiety. And I kept on ingraining it as part of my routine as such, because every time from then on I was required to give a presentation of some sort, whether it was just 3 or 4 people in a room, I immediately went into this same negative pattern, and the fears just became too strong. I used to get a real shaky voice. I remember I used to actually tremble. And it wasn't long before I used to avoid those situations, call in sick, and I'm sure you know exactly what that feels like. Well, I carried on doing the same work that I was doing, a lot of consultancy and one-to-one stuff. But then, after a while, I realised I'm going to have to sort this out because I knew I was holding back my career. Now, I don't know if you, like me, have been through a specific event that has caused you to feel anxious with public speaking, or whether you've just developed it over time, or maybe you've never liked public speaking. But I'm sure that you know there's part of you that will say, do you know what, I know I can do this. I know I can stand up, I know I can speak, so I have the prerequisites as such. But I might also feel there's another part of you that's very negative, that is saying to you, get out of there, don't do it, run away, avoid it, whatever it might be. And it causes you to feel very anxious. Well, this is what happened to me, and I had that one big part of me that was stopping me from achieving what I wanted to do in my career. Now, if we're to zoom back up to present day, I luckily went through a few training courses and worked with specific mentors that helped me overcome my anxieties and made me a confident speaker. And now, whenever I present to 300, 400 people, I really enjoy it. And I look forward to those situations. And I know that seems like a long, long way away for some people right now. But the thing is, it's all about making sure you can shift your mindset so you can develop this confidence. Because once you know what you're doing, then your self-belief and self-assurance will grow rapidly whenever you present. And having been through the whole process myself, from fearful to confident speaking, I've now helped over 3,000 people through my books, my products, and my workshops, so you can be yourself whenever you stand up in front of anybody. And imagine now, standing in front of any size group, instantly gaining that credibility, authority, and respect, so you can gain huge amounts of success in your career just through public speaking. And imagine when this is going to happen for you. Will this make a small or a massive difference to your future? Exactly. Because there I was at university in need of a solution to help me with my fears of public speaking. And it was at that point that I met my first mentor, which I owe a lot of my success to. And she once told me that public speaking is the most important skill in business today. And therefore, whatever I spend on becoming a confident and great speaker is not a cost, but an investment. So I scrounged around and got my hands on any cash that was available. I even got some credit cards out as well, because I knew that if I could get this right, if I could become a confident speaker, then it would be a very wise investment. And I'm glad to say it was probably the best financial decision that I've ever made. Now, you may or may not have seen me speak from the stage before, but one of the most important aspects of your public speaking is your motivation. And I'll talk more about motivation in the next video, because your motivation might come from the fact that you have to do a presentation in the near future, or you might know that you're holding back your career and you want to be able to stand in front of anybody and be seen with that authority, credibility, and respect. Or maybe you've seen other people around you speak very effectively and experience huge success as a result, and you want a slice of the action. But one of my main motivations is what my mum once said to me when I was very, very young. You see, my mum unfortunately passed away when I was very young, when I was 10. But a few years before that, I had an exam that I had to do. And I used to hate exams, and it was a history exam, and I used to hate history, so it wasn't a good combination. But I remember on the day being very reluctant to get out of bed or get changed or even go to school. But my mum, she finally got me to school, and she had to drop me off about 50 yards away from the school gates. So she dropped me off, and I slowly walked up the road in a bit of a sulk, almost, fearing for my life for this exam, even at the age of 8. And as slow as I was walking, she was driving at exactly the same pace up to the school. And there's a line of traffic behind her, beeping her as well, but she was making sure that I was going to go and do this exam. And we got to the school, and I had to turn left into the gates, and she was going to turn right at the crossroads. And I remember to this day, she shouted out the window, "Tom, just do your bestest." And then she drove off. But at that moment, I remember feeling completely differently about that exam. And this is something that has constantly pushed me to achieve more and more success. It's to always do my bestest. So I hope that you can call yourself to that higher place and be that person that you know you could be. And it all starts with making that decision to become a great speaker. Because great speakers are not born, great speakers are made. And if you truly make a decision today to become a great speaker, then I look forward to mentoring you, guiding you, and training you so you can experience the same success as all the people that have gone before you. So watch out for tomorrow, because I'm going to show you exactly how you can start shifting your mindset and starting this journey to becoming a confident speaker. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thanks very much.